couple people.
Oh, do? I don't touch it.
You can just X out of that.
Oh,
Just so that I see my slides.
Yeah.
Just all I want. Okay. I can start?
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. And this session is about the World Usability Design Challenge winners. And you'll be hearing from all of them. And so first, I'm going to tell you a little bit of background and what the context is for these. So we'll be talking mostly about the World Usability Initiative, and that also runs World Usability Day. So
Just hit the present button and then you should be good.
this over here.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So what is World Usability Initiative? So World Usability Initiative runs several activities. We run the speaker series. We have a YouTube channel. We have publications and then the annual design challenge, in addition to running World Usability Day. Our mission for all our activities is to ensure technology, products, and services will be made accessible and usable for people everywhere. Now, the whole point is to bring together all the different organizations under one umbrella with the same goals. So HCI, UX, plain language, design, research, we're all part of the same community. We have a few specific tactical goals. We are looking to get World Usability Day as an internationally observed day, which is listed in the United Nations calendar. And given that we are celebrating our 20th anniversary, we are pursuing that. And then the second goal is to create projects within developed and developing countries that help solve the world's largest problems that are connected with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so what's World Usability Day? World Usability Day was modeled after Earth Day. So before Earth Day, Americans were consuming vast amounts of leaded gas, and there was inefficient automobiles. There was a lot of industrial pollution, and a woman named Rachel Carlson wrote a book called Silent Spring, and in it she described how pesticides were getting into the environment and causing what we now call global change, but it used to be climate change and global warming, sorry. So in 1970, the first Earth Day, 20 million Americans marched on the United Nations to call for greater protections and to save our planet. And today, you can see, as a result of that, recycling all around the world. So that was a great model for us. And so that's what we are looking to do. So World Usability Day, as I mentioned, is celebrating its 20th anniversary. We've been in 75 countries with over 250,000 participants and speakers and 76,000 volunteers. So you can see here the first the first World Usability Day was actually a 36-hour day, and it started as it does every year on the second Thursday of November in the East. In this case, New Zealand was the first event, and then you can see each hour more and more events to the last one. So it starts in New Zealand and goes all the way around, usually ending in California, although sometimes we do have something in Hawaii. So you can see here the list, and you can see how it's actually a 36-hour day. So to recap, World Usability Day 2024, the theme was Designing for a Better World. These are the results. We had a lot of people online, a little over 4,000 people involved, and we launched the design challenge, and you'll be hearing about this particular theme, Designing for a Better World, through all the winners. Okay, so 2025, which is now, has a new theme, and it's emerging technology and human experience. So we are open for submissions for the design challenge with this theme. And there are cards and there is literature in the back if you want to submit. Okay, so what else do? We actually run a speaker series in addition to World Usability Day and to the design challenge. So you can see we have a channel online on YouTube. We have the World Usability Day channel, and you can see all of our speakers. We have quite a range, people in Nigeria. We have some from Jordan. We have some from Ukraine, and a bunch from the United States. Okay, and our publications. So we just published Usability for the World. You can go look at it at the Springer table. And then we're doing 2 more, and there is material in the back on how you can submit for the next 2 books. And there's also material on the current book. Okay, and our general thinking is that there is a deep connection between sustainability and usability, that in fact, they're the same, in my opinion. And how could that be? Well, if you look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals, you can see all the different categories. Many of you are familiar with this, but every single one of these categories can be impacted by good user experience design. So we have a few that are hitting some of these, and you'll hear about that in a minute. And now, probably what you came here to hear is the design challenge. So this is, I mentioned this in the opening last night, but the way it works is that we launch the design challenge in the summer, and then it closes at the end, in the beginning of September. And then the winners are announced on World Usability Day, which is the 2nd Thursday in November. And then the winners get to get their awards here at HCII International and then present. So what you'll be seeing is the winners from the 2024 theme, Designing for a Better World. And with that, I'm going to turn it to our first presenter, who is our Gold Award winner, Lindsay Poe. Did I get your name right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to swap, and she's going to go. So, yeah. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay, and I am Gold Award winner at World Usability Design Challenge 2024. And currently I am working as UX designer in University of York in the United Kingdom. So today I would like to introduce you to Mabu, a money management app that I designed specifically to help young people gain confidence and control over their finance in a simple, engaging, and also meaningful way. So this was a 12-week project where I applied a combination of goal-directed design and gamification to address a critical challenge, which is empowering young people to develop healthier and more sustainable financial habits. So by blending user-centered design with engaging reward-based elements, my goal here was to make managing money feel approachable and also motivating. So going back to the initial problem discovery, as an international student, I have noticed how many of my peers and also myself were struggle with financial management and saving habits. And a part of that, through my research, I found that many existing financial tools were just too complex and also lack engagement for users. So I chose to combine goal-directed design and gamification because I want Mabu to be more than just normal finance app. I want it to truly connect with users. So by focusing on their goals and needs, goal-directed design helps shape an experience that feels personal and purposeful. And also at the same time, adding gamification brought in a sense of fun and reward, turning tasks like budgeting and saving into something that user actually look forward to. And so together, the approach helped create an app that's both useful and enjoyable, which will encourage users to stick with their financial journey. So to design Mabu in a way that truly serves its user, I follow the goal-directed design process from start to finish. So it began with diving deep into research to uncover real user needs and spot gaps in the market. So from there, I brought the user to life through personas, map out their journeys, and carefully define the app's core features and requirements. I then sketched out storyboards and journey maps to visualize how everything would come together, and then move into prototyping and testing to refine the experience. And finally, I ran a pilot to gather honest feedback and make sure that the app genuinely meets user goals. So to truly understand what young people need from a money management app, I began the research phase with a mix of methods that gave me both depth and breadth. So I start by sitting down with 8 participants for one-on-one interviews, and we talk about their day-to-day spending habits, struggle with saving, and what they wish finance apps could do better. So these conversations uncover personal stories and pain points that ground the project in the real-life experience. So in order to expand on the insights, I then launched a survey that reached 52 respondents. So this helped me validate key themes and spot broader patterns, combining qualitative and quantitative data. So finally, I conduct a competitor audit of 5 popular finance apps to understand what worked, what didn't, and where Mabu could stand out. So let's take a look at the results of the research. So the results were pretty clear. Most of my participants are students or fresh into their careers who are starting their financial independence. So quite interestingly, while many were already using banking apps to keep an eye on their spendings, quite a few still relying on spreadsheets, and some even admit that they weren't managing their money at all. So when it came to what they actually want in an app, they were all about the basics, like check their spending, have them stick to the budget, and show them where their money is going. And how about gamifications? They were open to it, but only if it engaging enough to make them forget that they are budgeting in the first place. And the most important is an app that's super easy to use. But to design something meaningful, I first had to understand what were already out there. I analyzed 5 popular finance management apps, and sure enough that each app have the features like budgeting tools, saving goals, fancy dashboard, but something didn't quite click. So that's when I spot the gap. So while the apps were packed with the features, they also packed with everything. So the problem here is for young people that I am designing for, this complexity was a real deal breaker. They weren't looking for more features, they're only looking for simplicity. And beyond that, they create something playful, an experience that feels motivating, not another boring finance tools, but something that made money management feel a little bit fun. So the insights from my research phase helped me uncover my target audience. I got a clear picture of their age, employment status, and what they truly need when it comes to managing money. And with that, I was able to create 2 personas that would represent my potential users. So first up, let me introduce you to Veronica. She's a full-time business analyst with a steady job and solid income. So Veronica is a type user who's already financially stable, but her needs are a bit more complex. She's not just looking for a basic budget trackers. She needs advanced tools that help her plan for the future. And now let's meet Joseph. He's a young postgraduate student who has a part-time job. So as an international student, Joseph has some big financial challenge, which is saving to pay off his student loans and building a safety net for emergencies. So the problem here is he never really learned how to manage money. So for Joseph, Mabu helps him track his spending effortlessly and even breaks down his expenses at the end of each month so he can figure out where to cut back and how to tackle his debt. So Joseph represents a group of users who are just starting their financial journey, so they need something educational, easy to use, and also motivating. So after uncovering my users' pain points, I start thinking, so what would make Mabu stand out while still meeting all the needs of my users? So with that in mind, I came up with a set of key requirements to ensure that Mabu isn't just another finance app, but the app that people really want to use. So first, with functional, Mabu helps user budget, track spending in real time, and get alerts before overspending. So it sides with multiple banks, auto-categorize expenses, and generates clear reports. So user can set saving goals, automate deposits, and boost financial literacies. And also to keep things fun, users can earn badge or even rewards when they hit their financial targets. And on the technical side, Mabu is built to be intuitive, easy to navigate, and deliver a fast and smooth experience. So to make Mabu truly intuitive, I carefully structure the app into 5 main sections based on how young people naturally think about money, like home, budgeting, savings, education, and expenses. So the home section integrates key features like financial dashboard and banking, while budgeting and savings help users set and track financial goals. Education provides financial literacy results through videos, tips, and quiz, and expenses allow detailed tracking and categorizations of spending. And building on that, to truly understand what user needs and feel when interacting with Mabu, I create a user journey map. I want to uncover the key touch points that shape their experience and ensure that everything feels consistent. So when mapping out the journey, I start from the very beginning, the moment a user decides to download Mabu. So I walk through their experience, touch point, imagining their emotions along the way, exploring where they are excited, confused, or frustrated. So my goal here was to address their needs and emotions at every stage, from signing up, exploring the app, and checking their first expense to finally seeing their saving goals become reality. And so by understanding user emotions high and lows, I could design an app that doesn't just work well, but also feels great to use, leaving users feeling confident and support throughout their financial journey. During the early stage of the design and prototyping phase for Mabu, I sketched out a key user interface to visualize the basic structure and flow of the app that ensure all the important functions and features were present and arranged correctly. So I want to get a clear sense of how everything would fit together and how user would move from on screen to the next. So to bring the user journey to life, I create a storyboard that visualizes real-world use case and scenarios for Mabu. So this is Veronica, one of the personas that I developed. So in the storyboard, we will follow Veronica's journey. So it starts with her in a moment of panic and starting her monthly bank statement, overwhelmed by her poor spending habits. So she's worried for a solutions. And then she discovered Mabu. So this scene unfolds as Veronica downloads Mabu, set up her profile, and start tracking her expenses. So step by step, she regains control over her finance, and by the end, we will see her feeling confident and accomplished, hitting her saving for the future. So with my initial ideas for creating a smart money management app, I decided to start very simple by sketching out a paper prototype. And honestly, it's a huge time saver. I brought the concept to life with pen and paper and creating a series of draw screens to simulate navigations so user could click on the components by pointing or tapping on them and mimicking the real interactions. So it's quite fascinating to watch how they engage with the prototype, and it's also helped me identify where the design needs tweaks. So to put my paper prototype to test, I used the think aloud method, and honestly, it became my absolute favorite. So that's really insightful about hearing user talk through their thoughts as they navigate the design. My goal was to spot usability issue before things got too polished. And this method gave me exactly that, the real-time reactions, honest confusions, and the moments of delight. So I carefully gather all the key insights from this session and use them to shape the hi-fi prototype. You will see the improvements reflect in the next section. And now we apply the big moment. So let me take you through how Mabu truly comes to life as a mobile app. So first up is one of my favorite features, the bank integration. So you can connect all your bank accounts in just a few taps and suddenly all your transactions in one place. And also during the setup process, users can choose to adopt the popular YA system, which is a proven method for smart budgeting. So here is the cool part. User can set budget by weeks, months, or even years. So let's say you want to save like 10% of your total budget every month for your dream vacation. So Mabu will take care of the math and automatically allocate funds to savings and other categories. Now let's take a look at the home screen. So to make the user experience smoother and more insightful, I include displays showing both the percentage of saving achieved and the budget used for the month. So with this way, users can quickly get a snapshot of the financial progress without diving into detailed reports. So the profile and notification screens are just tap away too. Users can update their personal information anytime and receive important alerts about their finance. So next, let's talk about one of the most exciting features, making informed finance decisions. So after gathering feedback, I realized that users want a spending trend chart to help them see where their money was going. So I added this feature to the hi-fi prototype, and now users can easily visualize their spending trends over weeks, months, or even years. So they can break down the data by category, like dining, transportations, or entertainment, or even see how much they are spending with specific merchants. So it's sort of like having a personal finance dashboard that helps you make smarter decisions. And moreover, user can manually add external expenses like cash purchase for a full and accurate view for their spending. Following that is increasing while spending with points and bash. So one of the most interesting user suggestions was to bring a bit of gamification into the app. Use the 1 points or bash to celebrate their achievements. So I took that feedback and brought it to life in the budget section. And so every time user hit a milestone, they can earn a bash, whether it's for saving a certain amount or staying under budget. And the features are not just about fun, they also reinforce positive habits and making it easier for users to stick to their financial goals while celebrating their progress. So let's move on to the savings screen. So this screen features a visual display showing the total amount saved and the progress towards their saving goals. But it doesn't stop there. Users can also track their monthly contributions for each goal with a handy progress bar. So this bar clearly indicates how much have been saved, so they can see at a glance how close they are to hitting their targets. And lastly, we have the education screen designed to take user financial literacy to the next level. So this screen is packed with videos, practical tips to help user learn and grow their financial knowledge. But here is a twist. I add a gamification element through the quizzes. So it's quite interesting way to challenge user while also boosting their financial skill. So when I moved to usability testing with the hi-fi prototype, I was so excited to see how users would interact with the polished version. So most of the participants wished to tasks like logging in and connecting their bank account, but a couple of users got stuck on the Jar budgeting system, and I realized that the concept need a little bit more explanation during onboarding. I also asked participants to fill out a system usability scale form to give their feedback, and the results were amazing. They are scored 90, which is, quite exceptional. And it also shows how intuitive and easy the app was for users to navigate and how effective it was in meeting their needs. And so, thanks to the insights from usability testing, I made adjustments to ensure that the app would be intuitive and user-friendly. So, with the issue number one, the ad expense and ad savings burdens were not standing out enough. So, I redesigned them to be bigger and bolder with the eye-catching icons so that users could easily recognize this burden. And next, there was quite a bit of confusion around the jar system on the onboarding screen. So many participants didn't quite get what it was for. So to solve it, I introduced short and friendly guides that break down what jar system is, how it works, and why it is such a smart way to manage money. And with the last problem, some users found that navigation bar a bit confusing at first. So in the update version, I add clear, friendly onboarding guides that walk user through what each session does. So this small change made a big difference. Now users can jump into the app with confidence and knowing exactly where to go and what to expect. Well, so looking back on this project, if I have more time, there's so much more that I would have loved to explore. I would have liked to further explore ways to enhance financial accountability for users and introduce more interactive features to support better spending habits. And on top of that, I would definitely place a stronger focus on WCAG standards to improve accessibility and ensure the app is more inclusive for all users. And that's a wrap. Thank you for taking the time to follow along my presentations.
We have time for questions if anyone has any questions.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, just one. That's fine.
Thank you for that. Very interesting. So I know it's targeted to younger adults. Is that correct? Is that all your usability testing was done with that demographic, or did you have any older adults?
So with my participants is mostly young students and also young people who just starting their financial. And I always approach them with the consent form to make sure that they understand what this study for and understand their rights, and also they can stop this maybe interviews or the testing anytime. And yeah.
Okay. And then second question is, how did you come up with the name of the app?
I'm sorry, could you?
How'd you come up with the name of the app?
That is really interesting question. So the name of the app is Mabu. It actually is I come up with the money buddy. It's kind of have a friend who help you manage the money. So I just made a little bit change to the name, and it's great Mabu. And yeah, thank you for the questions.
Anybody else? Yes, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. We'll go to the next. We're gonna swap again.
Yes.
Okay, so great, thank you. I know we're gonna in a minute go to the video, right? I just want to say, thank you to Brian Smith, who is the head of the jury. And he was in charge of the jury and the whole thing, and I'm sort of the front person just sharing it. So thank you, Brian. And with that, our second presenter is unable to attend and also can't get on the internet, so we have a video. And she's from, do you would do it on this? I'm going to step aside for a second.
Hi everyone, I'm Sahar from Iran, and it's a great
you mute real
pleasure
quick?
to be here today. I'm going to talk about a group of individuals who are often ignored or marginalized in my society. Waste speaker. These are people who play a critical role in keeping our cities clean, yet their contributions are rarely acknowledged and their living and working conditions are extremely difficult. My project focuses on designing text messaging system to support waste speaker in Iran. The system aims to make their work safer, more profitable, and more connected to the urban recycling economy. With the rise in the urbanization, population density, and consumerism, cities like Tehran generate massive amounts of waste, and managing this waste has become a costly task for municipalities. However, this same waste has also become a valuable economic resource, and today the market value of recyclables has reached a point where collecting and selling waste is a highly profitable business. In Iran, about 14,000 individuals do waste picking to manage their life from different types of groups like addicts, in child laborers, and undocumented immigrants. And in fact, it's estimated that over 90% of waste pickers are undocumented Afghan immigrants, many of whom have no official identification or legal protection because they lack access to vehicles. They carry waste on foot, often dragging heavy sacks through the streets. Their primary collected material is plastic, which has a low resale value, meaning long hours of labor result in very little income. Despite the value they bring to the economy and the environment, waste pickers are often criminalized and punished by municipal authorities. They often work in underlayer of society, and when they try to work in wealthier neighborhoods, they face conflict and discrimination instead of being supported. There are different approaches to dealing with the waste picker. Some systems try to force them to adopt an existing model. Others attempt to eliminate them from the cycles, and a few seek to reintegrate them into the formal system. My research explores the working conditions and daily lives of waste pickers, how they move through the city, what challenges they face, and how they navigate their routines. By breaking down the current waste collection process, we see that by the time materials pass through multiple layers of intermediaries such as contractors and dealers, the original contractor ends up with only 5% of the final value. The system leaves waste pickers disillusioned and exploited. They carry heavy waste all day. They dig through dish, exposing themselves to dangerous materials like needles, broken glass, or even animals. They are vulnerable to infection, physical harm, and verbal or physical abuse from both citizens and authorities. Most do not have a place to rest or even access to clear water and basic sanitation. Some are forced to work for intermediaries, exchanging labor for a temporary place to sleep or minimal protection. Let me share a short video from one waste picker in Iran. He is a middle-aged man visibly worn out by addiction and years of hardship. His day starts before dawn. He walks for hours searching for recyclables, mostly plastic, which yields low returns. He carries the weight on his back because he doesn't own a car or bike. As you know, he can't afford public transportation, so he travels by foot from one end of the city to the other. His hands are scarred and his skin shows signs of infection, the result of handling unsafe waste and frequent physical interactions. At the end of a long day, he might earn just enough money to buy drugs, not because he wants to, but because it's the only escape he has from the cycle of pain and poverty. He has no support system, no healthcare, and no opportunity for a change.
یکی میگفت آب جلو پسرتو بگیر اومده امروز بهترین غذا بوده ما خوردیم هم کارب داره هم
In the following, I want to mention some of the challenges this group of individuals may face. They do not have a safe environment to work on that. They have difficulties for money transfer or hygienic problems. They cannot have independence in their work. They not have a profitable and safe job environment, and some criminal records and many other difficulties. So I will mention some answer that I do through design. For protection against physical violence, I try to make a network in which they have connection with the other face speaker or officials or municipalities, so they can be recognized, and also I can provide them the opportunity to know other nearby stores who want to donate or will send their products. Also, some of these stores can offer them food donation. Also, for the health and safety, I can offer them some safety tools during their collection or provide them a storage area to store their waste. And I can connect them directly to recycling factories or verify buyers by cutting out exploitative middlemen. I can also offer updates on current prices of recyclable materials, and at the end they can be recognized by some of the system, and they have different options of payments which make them happier and give them the power of independency. And this is a new cycle designed by me, from collecting, storing, and also selling the waste by waste picker. Although it may not free of errors, but it provides them a better opportunity for working and better quality of life. In the following, I want to mention some of the important concepts I've designed during my design process, from recycle map, queues, text messaging system, subscription model for consistent service, and all of them have their positive points and negative points. But I decided to integrate the feasible element from each concept into a single text messaging system, in which it will aim to remove all unnecessary intermediaries, also create an overall supervision structure while ensuring independency, and it work as smooth as possible, and also utilize existing workflows and avoid potential legal complication. This system named HCII, inspired by the SAC, carrying waste picker in Tehran, connect waste collectors with waste donators and sellers without intermediaries. It aims to provide an hourly profitable job for them while streamlining the waste collection process. I faced 3 different iterations. In the first part, I want to consider whether waste collection process is easy. As you know, I try to examine objectives like help waste picker easily locate businesses, simplify communication system, and ease of navigation. For the second iteration, I try to examine objectives like enable waste picker to compare buyer prices and select the most profitable one, provide different payment options, and evaluate locker functionality. In the third iteration, I try to examine health and safety by considering objectives like test the effectiveness of health and safety reminders, ensure access to gear and gloves, evaluate a waste reporting system, And this is a prototype that's designed by me. And finally, user journey map for HCII from collecting to storing and selling waste to buy waste speaker. And there are some pictures from the design part of the project, from collecting part. It will allow waste speakers to bypass even certain parts and provide them identification. It will reduce unnecessary physical movement. Also, it will keep waste speaker away from residential area and maybe provide some encouragement for businesses to donate their recyclables and food to waste speaker. Also, it will display list of nearby store and provide some donated food to waste speaker and a clear list that allow them to select and prioritize their items. For the storing part, it offers waste speaker free lockers and to secure their items, provide them some IDs and allow them to specify their items and an overview of their items. For the selling part, it will offer them an overall report and also scores for the encouragement and present them with a list of buyers that allow them to select them based on their benefits and bonuses and give them a clear schedule to implement a system to verify and confirm waste speaker. For the payments part, it provides payment option, different payment options, even for undocumented immigrants, and also ensure final steps by providing them the opportunity to update their information and using even some digital wallets. For health and safety, it will allow them to choose and personalize their daily messages, their health reminder like checkups, notification and vaccination, and some tests they may receive for their disease and other health issues. Also offer free protective tools to further ensure their safety and provide a dedicated support team that they can call in urgent situation. Thanks all for attention. With this project, I hope to bring waste speaker closer to the center, not just through technology, but through respect, empathy, and inclusive design. Thank you.
So you can't ask questions since she's not here, but I just wanted to say that it's a very, first of all, there's a very interesting project. And so far you've seen two different ways of designing for a better world. And there's a lot of different options, but it's nice to see the different changes. We could have time for other questions. You had a question about how many, we could take other questions for a sec. How many submissions there were? Do you know, Brian, off the top of your head? Would you like to share that?
50, there were 55 this year. I can't remember the number the year before. It was much less than 55.
Yes.
Right. And so it has grown quite a bit. And so
Yep.
hopefully we'll see even more this year.
Yeah, so 55. So we got these three and then an honorable mention out of 55. For those who are interested and who may have just walked in the back of the room, I have some cards with some QR codes. One is to submit to the design challenge. And the other one is if you're interested in submitting to our books, which also have some flyers back there. So, okay, so I think we're ready to go online. So we've got two online. We've got our third place winner and we've got the honorable mention. And the third place winner is ready. There she is. Hello, Rishika. Okay, turn it to her. I don't know what, I guess we're done. All right, share your screen and off we go. Welcome, Rishika. Nice to see you. Okay, we can see it.
Hello, everyone. This is Rishika. I'm presenting our project Navibus on behalf of my Team Conscious Collective with team members Amita Mohandas and Vishwa Desai. Me and my teammates are master students of New Media Design at National Institute of Design in India. Navibus is our initiative to reimagine India's bus rapid transit systems with a strong focus on accessibility for visually impaired users. The motivation from the project stems from the critical need to make public transportation truly inclusive. According to the World Health Organization, India accounts for 21% of the world's visually impaired population. The stats highlight the urgency of addressing the barriers these users face in navigating urban transit systems. For the design process, we chose the double diamond process, and it allowed us to diverge and converge at various stages of the design process. So we divided the entire process into 4 parts: the discover phase, the define phase, the develop phase, and the deliver phase. To design a coherent and user-centered solution, we began with the empathize phase of the design process, and we immersed ourselves in the daily lives and environments of visually impaired individuals. Our main aim was to understand their experiences, challenges, and needs in navigating through these spaces. We used a combination of methods for this. So the first method that we used were observations. We visited the blind school in Gandhinagar and the Blind Persons Association in Ahmedabad to observe how visually impaired individuals interact with their surroundings every day. And then we also used this method of role playing to gain a deeper understanding. We visited the Vision in the Dark Museum, which simulates the sensory experiences of the visually impaired and helped us perceive how they navigate the world using non-visual cues. The last method that we used to empathize was storytelling and conversations. So we engaged in open-ended conversations with members of the visually impaired community to hear their lived experiences, struggles, and aspirations in their own words. We then went on to the explore phase of the study. So we studied the existing bus systems in India and how they cater to the visually impaired. This was done through literature reviews, space audit, and fly-on-the-wall observations. Through these methods, we found that a board was suspended from the ceiling with information of upcoming buses and their arrival time. And this was the only visual cue that was there for people to understand when the next bus would be coming. And the platform number was written on top of the gate, and it had to be noted before entering the bus. So we realized that while these visual cues already existed, they were not of any particular help to our users. And through fly on the wall observations, we noted that the visually impaired users, they usually needed someone else to know the platform number, and in a lot of cases they asked their friends and colleagues to assist them till the bus stop. And with every bus that was approaching, they had to ask others to confirm the bus number, and this could be their friends or this could also be strangers on the bus stop. And they had no access to the bus schedule because it was displayed on a screen. Although a certain app was there, but it was very difficult for them to be able to operate that app while trying to board the bus and standing at the bus stop as well. So these methods helped us to understand the journey and behavior of visually impaired users, specifically within the context of bus stops. So then we synthesized our research into a contextual system map. And this system map, it captured the end-to-end journey of a visually impaired commuter, starting from entering the bus stop, ticket generation, finding the platform, boarding the bus, sitting in the bus, and deboarding. At each stage, we analyze both information cues and infrastructure elements that either aided or hindered the navigation. And this helped us identify where critical gaps in accessibility and orientation exist within the current BRTS design. We then documented the location-based observations through a behavior map to understand their relationship with the spaces. In addition to this, we also created a stakeholder map to understand the people around the visually impaired who helped them with their journey, who could be their friends or peers, or even the bus conductors on the bus stop. We then followed up our research through primary research, and it was done through interviews and usability studies. And we focused on existing mobile applications for the usability study. And the objective behind conducting these interviews and studies was to understand the mental models of visually impaired users as they navigated each stage of their bus journey. And we wanted to uncover nuanced behaviors such as how they get to know when their bus arrives, which platform it will arrive on, which bus to board, and when to get off. In addition to this, we also conducted usability studies by asking participants at the bus stop to demonstrate how they use their phones to navigate. And this helped us observe how they interacted with mobile apps in real time and the kinds of gestures, screen readers, or voice commands they relied on in this particular context. And we found these insights from primary research. The first insight was that there was an overwhelming audio feedback, and users often experienced information overload due to the constant stream of audio from talkback, and it ended up becoming very frustrating for them. And the second observation was that the current user interface was cluttered and was not optimized for visually impaired users, as they continuously had to swipe through multiple elements to locate essential features. Additionally, multiple swipes were required for core actions, and performing even basic tasks required several swipes. And this increased cognitive load and slowed down the process of accessing information quickly. They also had difficulty in assessing the estimated time and distance for their bus to arrive, or knowing where their deboarding stop would be and at what time would it arrive. And there was a frequent overlap of audio cues, such as talkback was clashing with Google Assistant, resulting in confusion and missed information. We gained a deeper understanding of how visually impaired users perceive and interpret their surroundings using senses beyond sight, using cognitive mapping. So, for instance, a participant shared that he could tell a bus was approaching the platform when the crowd around him began to shift and nudge him forward, indicating that the bus had arrived and people were preparing to board. Others described how they sensed speed bumps or recognized locations by distinct smells, like food stalls near the bus stops or chemical odor near factories. And they use these cues using their other senses to track progress and orient themselves along the journey. So we mapped all of these at different stages of their journey, from locating the bus stop to understanding the bus location while traveling, knowing when a bus door is opening, knowing when the bus is approaching, and how do they navigate till the bus stop towards the end, and how do they get off as well. We then went on and made a user persona for our study. So our persona revolved around a person who wanted to travel independently and is a frequent user of technology and assisted tools. We then went ahead with the problem identification, and while we had a motivation and intention behind the problem area, we decided to focus on the target area of how to make information systems on bus stops more accessible for visually impaired users. And this helped us reach our final problem statement. How might we enhance existing information exchange in bus transport for visually impaired to make it more perceivable for their mental models? So there were certain things that we took in mind while we came up with the final problem statement, and we wanted our solution to be something that could be integrated within the existing system. It would have a specific context, and we also wanted to make sure that we use it to make information more understandable to our users in a way that it adheres to their mental models. So then we went on with our solution framework. So to make information exchange more intuitive, accessible, and efficient, we oriented our solution around multimodality and explored how we could use multiple sensory channels to give information to our visually impaired users along their journey. So the first part of the solution that we came up with was the platform identification system. So we came up with this idea that could be incorporated within existing bus stops. So we proposed that proximity sensors covering a range of 180 degrees would be fixed near the top of the gates from which through which the users can access the bus, and it can help users identify which gate to board the bus from. And to make so this was the primary infrastructure that we had in mind, but to make it more accessible to our visually impaired users, we came up with several gestures and feedback design. So we noted how the visually impaired users, they carried a cane in one hand and their phone in the other hand while navigating through the bus stop. And we realized that to cater to this particular need, one-handed gestures in a horizontal orientation would be best for them to get audio feedback. And we also introduced additional vibrational feedback along with the audio feedback for various functions relating to their bus journey. We also worked on the visual design, and we wanted to rework on the visual interface of the existing applications. So we focused on high contrast between background and foreground elements, large and bold fonts. We also focused on displaying limited and crucial information and providing distinct spaces between different elements of the screen. We also came up with this user scenario to help understand how this solution could be used in specific context better. So we imagine that Sanket, a visually impaired user, arrives at the BRTS bus stop after his long day at work. He proceeds to the gate of the bus stop and enters the bus stop using his cane. He is really tired and wants to make sure that his journey is hassle-free. So he opens the BRTS application and begins with the search for a bus. He quickly enters his location and destination in the app through voice inputs. He opts for the bus of his convenience and proceeds to reserve one of the empty seats. He receives confirmation on his seat reservation, and then after booking the seat, he goes on to finding his platform, and as he reaches near the gate, he gets a notification on his platform number, and he is relieved, and he sits on the bench beside his platform for a while. And after some time, he's able to track his bus, and he receives a notification on the bus status, which is in the form of a vibrosonic feedback. And before 5 minutes of the bus arrival, he receives a vibrosonic preparation notification that the bus will be arriving soon. He goes near the platform gate and waits for his bus to arrive. And as soon as his bus arrives, he gets a different sort of a vibrosonic notification that confirms that his bus has arrived, and he can board the bus and continue throughout his journey. So for usability testing, currently this solution is at a conceptual stage with initial testing. The Figma prototype of the visual interface and vibrosonic feedback have been tested individually, but we still have to develop a working prototype in the context of a bus stop so that we can have a prototype evaluation and scenario-based usability testing. Thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. We mention our special thanks to students and teachers of Blind School in Gandhinagar and Community of Blind Persons Association in Ahmedabad. Thank you.
Thank you. So we do have some time for questions. If anyone has questions. I guess I have one question. What made you come up with this idea?
I think, to be very honest, there was a blind school in Gandhinagar near our college that we had heard a lot about. And a few of our colleagues had also gone there for some other project. So, when they told us about that school, and the architecture of the school is very famous. It's one of the, it has been designed in such a way that it caters to visually impaired users. So when we looked at the project brief, we thought, why not go to this school that we have heard so much about and see how it goes. And when we actually went there, we were able to connect so well with the people there, and we decided to actually do something for them and take this forward. And then one thing led to another, and then we ended up with this idea of the navigation in bus stops.
Great. Very interesting. And also, it's interesting for me to, because I'm not on the jury, to see how each of the projects, yours and the last two, really do address serious world problems. And what I wanted to mention is that so far, all three are extensible in the sense of, yes, they are focused on, say, the countries that you did them in, but I can see these problems in other countries, and so there are ways that you could solve these in other, it's not just dependent on the location you're in. So very interesting. All right, no more. Another question? Okay, we have a question for you from the.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you for that presentation. So on your screen design, it looks like the user is using voice as their method of input. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and then is the interface then, are you counting on them using a tool on their phone to read the screen to them? So how do they know when they open the app what the options are to find a bus or find nearby stations?
Okay, so there's this talkback feature which is already provided on mobile phones, and that is primarily how they navigate through different existing applications. So while talkback is an additional accessibility feature, in certain contexts it doesn't work so well. So through our visual design, we looked at the existing application and figured out how could we place the visual elements in such a way that talkback becomes easier for them. So we worked on decluttering the screen so that they can just click on certain spaces and they can use that talkback to get that information back. Because their primary way of sort of interacting with a mobile phone is the talkback feature itself, and they use it extensively from social media to even other activities such as navigation.
Okay, thank you. And then one last question is, so is the idea when a bus is pulling up that the number of that bus would then be read through your app to the user instead of them
I
having
don't
to
think,
rely on?
yeah. So that's, we won't be reading out the number, but when the bus arrives at a platform, their bus that they have to board, they would sort of get a vibrosonic notification that your bus has arrived. This is the bus that you have to board. So they would already know that a bus is, the bus is about to arrive, because they would notice that the people have started to crowd around them. And this sort of a vibrosonic feedback, it gives them a confirmation that this is the bus that you have to board. Because even if we gave them the bus number, it wouldn't be as useful as making them independent, because they won't be able to see the bus number anyways. But this sort of a vibrosonic feedback, it gives them a confirmation that yes, this is the bus that you have to board, along with the people crowding near them.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Just one more quick question. So how would you ensure that the feedback that they're getting is different from, say, a notification of a text message or email or something like that?
So we looked at different types of audio and vibrational cues that we could give them. So for example, even when in India we book Uber, so when our cab is about to arrive, we get a very long vibrational sort of a notification. So the vibration it has, it sort of goes on for 2 to 3 seconds, or there could be a certain vibration that goes on for 1 second and then stops and then goes on for another second. So we could work on different types of vibrational feedbacks that could distinguish one activity in the bus stop from the other activities.
Great. Thank you. Very, very interesting. And I know you had a good team to work with. So thank you for zooming in and doing your presentation. And congratulations again. And last but not least, we do have an honorable mention. And she will be giving us her presentation right now. That's Fang Ding. And go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
Hello, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Hi, greeting everyone. My name is Fang Ding, a UX designer. I sincerely thank the conference organizers and the World Usability Initiative for this opportunity. Do you know what causes more tension in families? It is money. Money penetrates every aspect of our lives. Yet we seldom discuss it openly. We may love someone deeply, but when shared responsibilities appear, like the mortgages, utility bills, it often becomes logistics. One partner unconsciously do financial control, the other pulls out, not out of indifference, but through habit. Even when couples maintain separate finances, stress persists. Use my card, we get more points. Wait, are these your miles or mine? Managing money is like hopping among many different financial apps, but it's still unclear. It is not an isolated experience, it's a widespread challenge that families face daily.
Fang, excuse me, can you put this in presentation mode? I think it'll be easier for us to see. Was that your question?
Yeah, I think it's normal. What's the issue for it? Can you
Right,
see
so-
it?
I mean, we see it, but what you're saying to put it in presentation mode? And
Yes, I put it.
so the icon, so if you look on the bottom, I don't know if you can see there's a presentation mode. She can't see my mouse.
So we see your PowerPoint screen as well. Maybe you're sharing a different screen.
So in other words, we see, yeah,
Now it's
that should work.
We still see your PowerPoint.
Oh, so I wonder if it's a different, do you have two monitors?
1 second.
We have plenty of time, so we can try to fix it, yeah. Glad you have tech support there for you.
Perfect.
Excellent. Good job. Thanks. Okay. Take it from
So,
where you are. Yeah, perfect.
so I begin with the question, what does financial stress feel like when no one talks about it? To answer this, I interviewed not only traditional families, but single parents and multi-generational families. Their responsibilities their responses, such as I'd rather Google money questions than ask my partner. I know I should say, but for what their stories pointed to a deeper issue, a lack of a cohesive data-driven system. Instead, constant decisions, scattered apps, and emotional fog. This led us to ask, what if managing family finance more like a shared rhythm? That's our beginning, just as the heartbeat reflects physical health, family pulse captures the rhythm of financial well-being, translating different data into a more intuitive way. So I found key findings after research. There's no financial jargon and no steep learning curves. People prefer use intelligent tools to help them do the financial management. I keep some principles after research. Number one is the clarity. present information so transparently that decisions become obvious. Number 2, autonomy. Empower each family member to engage at their comfort level. Number 3, people prefer all-in-one solution that integrates multiple bank accounts for more convenient and comprehensive financial management. Number 4, security is crucial. People want to know, can we afford this? And without toggling between different apps. We began by mapping real-life scenarios, inviting a partner into the financial circle, adjusting budgets in moments of uncertainty. These scenarios become the foundation for every UX decision. To bring these scenarios to real life, I developed two personas, Mary, a teacher and mom. She values being informed but does not wish to micromanage every transaction. Her husband follows budgets but dislikes complex interfaces. We identified their key friction points. Where did all our money go? That question guided the first interface, the dashboard. When translated Mary's question into design, I recognized that a dashboard must give us some clues. Think of it as the command center: income, balance, expenses, progress bars for key goals like the tuition, grocery, and mortgage. Accounts grouped by ownership, Mary's and joint. The various parts are interconnected that can help users analyze their current financial crisis and use the algorithms to help them calculate and solve problems. The intuitive interface is the emphasis to help Mary build better financial confidence. So for the paper low fidelity, I found UX touch points emphasize the clarity over complexity. Ownership tags on each card use the plain language visuals because professional terms not suit for non-financial knowledge background users. The user journey keeps simple. To validate the design hypothesis, I conducted rapid in-content evaluations. Use this paper, and the participants provided the actionable feedback like, I love that I can separate joint and individual accounts. Just help me not forget my bill charges. So we listened and made fundamental shifts, removed the gamified sprite spanning feature, introduced our confirmation screen before each transfer, renamed the budget wizard to set budget because clarity always important. Now you might ask, how do we embed trust into every interaction? Through future research and the testing, I found small interactions build user confidence, such as remind your approaching budget limited. In family finance, confidence is critical. So this is the 9 key moments. We will talk it later. This is the user flow. It's not just the structural logic of the app, but the emotional logic of trust, especially within the shared family financial system. The key moments that significantly influence user confidence, from personalized spending alerts to just-in-time credit card suggestions. Here you can see the entire of onboarding, daily usage, and feedback loops, the interactions that most strongly influence the user trust and emotional relax during the test. What makes this flow powerful is its ability to show how deeply connected features AI recommendations, goal-based budgeting, family transparency to reduce friction and support confident decision-making. I designed these not as a linear journey, but as a resilient loop system. So with the flow validated, I translated paper sketches to the low and high fidelity prototypes. Over 3 rounds of the usability testing, refined the details like adjusted the label positions for readability, relocated primary controls to align with natural thumb movements, simplified language for universal understanding. Each iteration brought us closer to an experience that feels intuitive, efficient, and aligned with the real user. So let's walk through the 9 key moments. The first is Mary signs up. She enters Liam's email and invites sent. There's no sensitive data required. This is the dashboard. It's like a command center view. The income versus expenses, progress bars for tuition and bills, accounts grouped by owners. A pin from Mary's child needs some money for school. One tap to transfer, customizable alerts ensure relevance. The budget is easy to set up. There's 4 steps. Input the income, categories, and goals. Then use the AI-driven allocation. Overspending triggers attention. Users can adjustable manually. For the smart card suggestions, the location and the purchase content driven by AI recommendations. For example, use this card, bank card for 5% cashback. Users retain the override control. And after they paid, users earned the rewards flow into the smart pocket with high yield or micro investment options and automated tracking. The donut charts reveal spending patterns, alerts at budget thresholds, hidden fees flagged for review, and the receipt can scanning and can export receipts for automatic tax deductions, like having a personal accountant without the cost. And you can use the personalized content recommendations based on the real behaviors custom. And every screen wasn't only tested for the usability because the family finance trust is crucial. Here you can see some core functions for the financial host, including the comprehensive credit reports integrated seamlessly into the dashboard, the real-time transaction processing classified by merchant behavior and financial goals, the multi-bank account integration with granular user-controlled permissions, automated tax tagging and export, ensure compliance and efficiency, AI-driven recommendations powered by real-time content rather than the historical data. All the sensitive information is encrypted end-to-end and directed into 2 core engines. A centralized secure database for user profiles and transaction records, an AI engine that performs budgeting calculations and real-time alerts. The AI engine interfaces only with certified banking APIs and authorized external platforms for credit report and data. So every transaction and system event recorded in a comprehensive audit trail. A built-in compliance framework aligned with the regulatory requirements to ensure that the UX is relied by security, transparency, and reliability. For the vision, I define a design system rooted in clarity and compassion. It's not just a visual aesthetics, but as functional UX principles. Every visual choice must reduce ambiguity and reduce users' stress. Emotion cues by high contrast color to signal urgency or caution. There are 3 shades of green, symbolize wealth and positive financial growth. The selected color pattern combines with the strict adherence to WCAG principles ensure the accessibility for all the users. I use the flat visual appeal of the neo-brutalism style, and shapes are intentionally minimal. The entire UI system was built with reusable components for long-term scalability and brand alignment. So before launch, we are conducted the independent security and privacy audits across multiple regions, the third-party encryption and testing, the behavioral privacy reviews to ensure minimum meaningful data exposure. Finally, let us return to the beginning. Why build an all-in-one family finance platform? Our design supports all kinds across the generations, cultures to ensure that it remains collaborative, configurable, and compassionate. As a result, the 93% users reported lower emotional stress than other apps. We build the family posts to foster the conversations, create the clarity, and strengthen the connections. At the heart of the UX lays not just functionality, but human dignity and mutual trust. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So it's interesting to see the other side, like another finance problem coming from a different side. Does anyone have any questions for her? Well, I know her. She was my student, so I don't have a question. I'll just be honest. You did a great job. I really love the neo-brutalism. I don't think I really saw that before, but the attention to design really pops out with this. So thank you for attending. Thank you for zooming in. And this concludes our presentations. I don't know if anyone has any other questions about the design challenge or anything else we've covered. No, we've been asking as we go. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And got a little time back in your day since the session's a little early. And thank you for coming. And I encourage you to submit and take our material on the back. So, okay. Thank you very much. That's a wrap.